Hello everyone, I am Ezekiel Bruni, and today it's time to talk about torrenting. Torrenting with VPNs. And which VPNs are the best for torrenting? Now, why would you want to torrent with a VPN? Well, it's for security reasons, for relative anonymity. Bad actors have been known to work through torrent networks as well, so relative security. And lastly, because sometimes internet service providers throttle torrent traffic, and it doesn't matter if you're downloading the most legal torrents in the world, and honestly, that just doesn't seem fair to me. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to run some tests and talk about these VPNs and show you how they work. If this video is helpful and useful to you, please do consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell icon to get all of our updates, all of our best tips, tricks, comparisons, and reviews of different virtual private networks, and the services they can unlock, and all of that stuff. Also, do check the description of this video because there will be links down below to full reviews of all these VPNs with all the tests we've run, all the benchmarks, all the services we've unlocked and tried, all that good stuff. Alright, let's get to it. So up first we have ExpressVPN. Now what is ExpressVPN? It's only one of our favorites. I'm right now connected to the Dallas, USA, but it actually has a network of up to 94 countries you can connect to all around the world. And you can just, you can get that greater anonymity by connecting halfway around the world, or you can just connect to one close for that sweet, sweet speed. And honestly, it's just a pretty good VPN overall. I used it myself for a long time. I switched to another one because I wanted a dedicated IP, but ExpressVPN is pretty great. I'm going to run what I call the Manjaro test. Manjaro test offers its downloads via BitTorrent, and a lot of people are downloading it, so we should have a lot of peers, a lot of seeders, and also, it's free and legal, so we're just going to download that. ISO. I have 115 megabits per second download speed from my internet service provider, and it is quickly ramping up to use most, if not all of them. Now, mind you, that's megabytes per second, so, not quite the same. I should get that is starting to look like a pretty decent speed overall. It's almost max download speed. Now, I should tell you a bit more about ExpressVPN while it downloads. ExpressVPN is headquartered in the British Virgin Islands, so they don't have any data retention laws, which, makes the country pretty secure and private, all things considered. And that means, of course, they can enforce their no-logging policies. ExpressVPN also offers port forwarding, and so you can, connect to your network from elsewhere if you want to do that. It offers various security protocols, including their own open-source Lightway protocol, which balances speed and security pretty well, I think. Although you can choose one of the more secure protocols that's also a fair bit slower. Yeah, I've gotten up to 15 megabits per second on an VPN network, so this isn't bad at all. I'm not losing a lot of bandwidth here. There's also a kill switch, of course, to keep your data from leaking, and even if your VPN gets disconnected. And ExpressVPN does use private encrypted DNS servers, and the whole network uses 256-bit AES encryption by default. All in all, ExpressVPN also has pretty decent prices. A very decent price-to-feature ratio. ExpressVPN is usable on a ton of different kinds of devices. Windows, Mac, Linux, of course, smart TVs, consoles, all that good stuff. And on routers. In fact, I should probably mention this. The port forwarding I mentioned, it's only available if you install ExpressVPN on a router. It's not available purely through the app. I know that's going to be disappointing to some, but the people who do port forwarding usually already have the kind of router that can do that sort of thing, most of the time. Speaking of those decent prices, though, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. Though if you pay for, just a few months in advance and you're not happy, within 30 days, you can get all that money back. You're not at risk. It's good. You should try it out. I've got 1 minute left on this download, but honestly, we've seen the speeds. I am maxing out here, say, around 13.5. I've seen it go up to 13.8 megabits per second. All things considered, that's pretty good. All right, I'm just going to stop this download and get rid of the torrent and start all over because I'm about to show you the next VPN. Next up, we have CyberGhost. CyberGhost is different in that it actually has dedicated torrenting servers. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect to one of those in a bit. But first I want to show you the whole network. They actually have servers in 91 different countries, which is pretty solid, all things considered. They also have some extra features like dedicated streaming servers and dedicated gaming servers, but that's not really what we're interested in right now. Those torrenting servers are specifically designed and optimized for peer-to-peer traffic. So that, they're not just designed, purely for torrenting, I imagine. You can also do other peer-to-peer stuff. But torrenting is, what they're white labeled for, so to speak. So let's find the US torrenting server, and let's give it the Manjaro test again. I'm just going to hide that real quick so it doesn't show you my private IP over on the right. Well, there's a strong possibility that there's heavy traffic on this particular server, so let's wait, give it a minute, and see if it speeds up any. Okay, so as it turns out, the dedicated torrenting server was a little far away from me, and I probably had the wrong protocol on. So I switched to a closer server in Dallas, Texas. I'm in Mexico City, and I switched to the WireGuard VPN protocol. So things are now going much faster, as you can see. I'm approaching the speeds I encountered in ExpressVPN. So if you're going to be torrenting, make sure you've got WireGuard on for that speed. Unless you want a super secure connection with a really slow download. Seeing a bit more variation in the speed, but otherwise things are going pretty okay, I think. Alright, so let's keep talking about CyberGhost security features though. It is headquartered in Bucharest, Romania, so they can enforce their no logs policy because they don't have any data retention laws to deal with. And it's also got that great automatic kill switch and those dedicated torrenting servers, which I am going to try again in a minute with the WireGuard protocol. There are a couple of different protocols to choose from, 256-bit AES encryption, all of that good stuff. And one thing that CyberGhost has that I really like are the no-spy servers. The no-spy servers are a set of servers specifically located in Romania, where privacy laws protect you a lot more, and they don't have any sort of mutual espionage agreements with other countries. So that makes it a super secure option, all things considered. CyberGhost also has DNS and IP leak protection, which, is something I definitely appreciate. CyberGhost also has pretty decent prices, all things considered, with a actually pretty darn solid 45-day money-back guarantee. That's definitely better than industry standard. I am trying the streaming servers again with the WireGuard protocol, and oh yes, I'm on the US torrenting server, sorry, not streaming server, torrenting server, and look at that download speed. Okay, so I had the wrong protocol on, definitely. That was my bad, I apologize. CyberGhost is definitely an interesting option with some specialized features that you may be interested in. I'm going to stop this download here and show you the next one. Alright, and next up we have Private Internet Access. Private Internet Access is a somewhat smaller, somewhat less feature-filled option than either ExpressVPN or CyberGhost. That is the truth, plain and simple. But on the other hand, it's still pretty good. I'll show you what I mean. So unfortunately, it shows your private IP address down here, so I'm hiding it. But overall, Private Internet Access has a pretty solid server network with 84 countries, headquartered in Denver, Colorado, in the US, which has no data retention laws, which makes it a pretty good place to headquarter VPN, as it turns out. So let's quickly connect to the US Houston server, and I'll show you how this all works. Okay, I'm connected. Let's test the speeds. Once more, the Manjaro test. All right, learning from my mistakes, I'm pretty sure I have the wrong protocol on. I'm going to pause that, disconnect, settings, protocols, WireGuard. There we go. And there we go. Okay, those are, again, pretty solid speeds and ramping up to what I'm pretty sure. I'm starting to think that every VPN just has like a couple of megabits per second overhead. Like this should hit around the 13 point something mark. And yeah, I'm just going to let that go while I continue to talk about private internet access. It's, again, I said it's somewhat it's not as featureful. It doesn't have as many protocols to choose from, but it is, the service that they are pretty fast. They're pretty great. And if you care about open source, this client, the private internet access client, is open source. Like the other two, it works on all sorts of operating systems and devices. But where the other two only have command line clients for Linux, this one actually has a graphical client for Linux and a command line option. So, best of both worlds. It has its own private DNS service as well, which helps a lot with streaming and also general anonymity and security. And it has 256-bit AES encryption, although it is not enabled by default. By default, you only get 128, so you gotta go into the settings and turn that on. One of the big things about private internet access is that it is cheap. Fantastic prices. 30-day money-back guarantee. Not as good as CyberGhost. But for the amount of features it has, that price is decent. But it's one of the cheapest VPNs out there. If you want a good deal and you're not worried about getting like the ultra best streaming technology like you would on ExpressVPN, or because you don't watch a lot of Netflix while you travel or whatever, and you're not interested in the very specific features that CyberGhost offers, then private internet access actually does very well for itself, and at a very affordable price. So, in the very end, which of these VPNs is the best for torrenting? Well, they all handle torrenting just fine. They don't throttle your downloads beyond what normal speed you lose when activating a VPN. They don't have data caps. The whole thing works just fine. For pure torrenting, any one of these services will work, although CyberGhost is specialized torrenting servers that are designed for peer-to-peer traffic, do appeal to me on a technical right tool for the right job level. That said, overall, we again have to recommend ExpressVPN as the general winner, because not on top of performing just as well as all the others in terms of torrenting, it's just got more protocols to choose from, more features in general, more platforms it supports. It's just the best bang for your buck in terms of features to price ratio. But if you like the look of private internet access and its budget friendliness, or if you like the specific features of CyberGhost, you can't go wrong with those either. Give them a look. Okay, so that is about it. Check the links in the description for links to all of the reviews we wrote on all of these VPNs, with all the tests we ran, all the services we unlocked, all the benchmarks, all that good stuff. And there will also be a link in the description to our coupon page. That is where you can find deals on these VPNs and just about every major VPN. So whether you're paying a few months or a few years in advance, taking off a few percent of that is nothing to sneeze at. If you found this video helpful, if you found it useful, if it helped you make your purchasing decisions, please do consider liking, subscribing, hitting the bell notification icon. Again, we have a lot of videos coming on all kinds of VPN-related topics, so if that's something that interests you, please do keep up with us. It would help us a lot with the YouTube algorithm. Alright, I had a lot of fun making this video, and I genuinely hope you had a lot of fun watching it. This is Ezekiel Bruni, signing out.